Welcome to a special episode of the Passive House podcast, recorded at North American Passive House Network's conference, Passive House for All, in June 2021 in New York City. In this, the 13th of 18 interviews we recorded amidst the hustle and bustle of the conference hall floor, I chat with Kevin Brennan of Brennan Airtightness and Insulation and co-host of Passive House Accelerator Construction Tech. A couple of thank yous before we get started. First, thank you to NAPHN for putting on this conference and for partnering with us on these interviews. Also, a big thank you to our sponsors who make all our work at the Accelerator possible. Our founding sponsors are 475 High Performance Building Supply, Baxtingue Architects, Glavel, Minotaur, Mitsubishi Electric Train HVAC US, Partel, RDH Building Science, Rockwell North America, Stillcorp, and Zola Windows. Our champion sponsor is SIGA, and our stakeholder partner is NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. So with that, please enjoy my interview with Kevin. Kevin Brennan of Brennan Airtightness Insulation, co-host of the Construction Tech series on the Passive House Accelerator, and all-around amazing practitioner and educator. It's great to sit down with you here at the NAPHN conference.
Thanks, Zach. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are some of the highlights for you so far with the conference? What's going on? What do you Passive House for All? Fill us in.
It's nice to see people in person. You know, I mean, I feel like I know you from Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and but to actually hang out with people in person is nice to get back to normal and build this community. One time, and the content's been great. It's been a good experience.
And you were a moderator for a session just now, yeah?
I was a speaker on a panel about workforce development and training opportunities. So,
with this theme of Passive House for All, I mean, a really key piece of scaling up Passive House, of course, is to have a trained workforce that can accomplish these projects. But that's also a really important opportunity for inclusion and social equity and justice and economic development. And I know that you've been engaged in workforce development work in New York and the boroughs for a while. So what is, first maybe you could talk a little bit about that work that you've been doing, and then maybe we can dive in deeper.
Yeah, I've been teaching the tradesperson course for about 8 years. We brought it to the Bronx about 9 years ago with a partnership with the Association for Energy Affordability and Passive House Academy.
Right.
And I believe in hands-on training will help the projects get built quicker and faster.
Yeah.
So we brought the top tier skills to the market, and then the project came. And then since the projects have come, then there's been a demand for a little bit of on-site training and sharing, beating the drum of the tribe of like what Passive House is, testing, quality control, demanding excellence, trying to seek perfection, and that's been great on the project scale. In the past, working for a nonprofit organization, we've done workforce development training, looking to get underemployed or people with difficulties employment jobs, and it's been a challenge in that you teach somebody a class, you give them a skill, and then there isn't a job right there waiting for them. And it's almost like you're promising them the world and it not really delivering. So hopefully by growing the community more, getting more projects online, then there'll be greater needs for these jobs and more projects and more training requirements and people that are passionate about installing air barriers, insulation. And so it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
And what do we need to make sure we do, maybe at Accelerator or NAPHN or the community at large, anticipating that could happen, right? That we might have that critical mass of projects so that there is the work that we can, deliver on the promise that there's work. What do we need to be doing to lay the groundwork so that we can train up a lot more people.
I was very impressed by what Massachusetts did with Mass Save, and how Josh in the presentation was saying how they reimburse the salary of people who are taking internships that are, college or high school or so. It's as a business owner, I would love to take advantage of that opportunity and teach somebody the ropes and give them an opportunity to learn the job. That would be great in everywhere. On the job training is where you really learn the job, what to do, how to do it, and then just be ready to deliver training when needed. And I think we need to rethink training a little more, like more student-centered training of like what are the needs of the people who need the training and those opportunities, and be a little more flexible and adaptive. Like I know when I teach the tradesperson course in the past, it's been a 5-day-a-week course, and in our fast-paced life, taking 5 days off at any job is tough, and then trying to fit it into running a business, owning a business, or being a part of a business is difficult. So I think maybe in the future we should reshape nights or weekends, or take more of a professional work development kind of like approach to it. And I would like to see the training take a more focused approach on building typology, multifamily, single family, retrofit. So hopefully we can get the partners together and develop that curriculum. I'm a part of those projects, so I'd be happy to work on the curriculum and the development. But one of the things we talked about in the session was the need for more people to lead and train, and in every market, throughout the country. I just was lucky enough to raise my hand in a session and say, hey, I have a training facility, and then I'm really passionate about Passive House, and I share the message. But every market needs somebody to give somebody an opportunity to teach and train and to go across. It's one of those things, as you go older in your career, you want to share more than somebody gave you, and it's very rewarding, and it's also an opportunity to lead and make little changes and give some input. It's fun to see I helped out on that project. We solved some real problems.
Well, in the time that I've known you, and it has been until now, it's all been through Zoom, which is crazy. I mean, I'm sure we bumped into each other before then.
It was at summer camp after the second band, though.
Yeah, right. That it doesn't count. In the time that I've known you, and certainly at the conference, I'm constantly witnessing former students, approaching you and thanking you, and that. I think that the impact that one person can have, like yourself, on lots of people's lives, and also therefore on this industry and the community is really powerful. So it's cool. It's really cool to know you and to see this work that you've been doing.
Yeah, it's rewarding to work with the team and see what they build and what they work on, and I only teach a class for 5 days, and then, I give them a little bit of information, and then sometimes they come back with questions. But I just did a blow-a-door test for a project in New Jersey that was a former student, accomplished builder, professional, and he hit 0.28 air changes per hour on a new construction. I'm like, this is the tightest project I've ever tested. Yeah. I'm like, this is a real sense of achievement, and I'm like proud for him, I would love to give I've always talked about it, but I've never really gotten ground. Maybe this is the venue to give an award every year for the tightest project in Passive House, no matter who's certifying it. But what's the best number we've got? Give a golden blow-a-door award and really reward those teams for going above and beyond. Make it a little bit of a competition. Go multifamily, single family, retrofit. Give 3 awards. I think that would be pretty cool. We only knew a 3D printer that could print us mini golden blow-a-doors.
The Oscars of the Passive House world.
Yeah. And like everything, it would involve a little bit of social, a little bit of awards, a little hoorah.
Awesome. That's funny. So you mentioned one project that you were just doing a blower door test on. What are some of the coolest projects you're working on now?
The coolest project I'm working on is the Engine 16 project. It's on 25th Street. It's the old quarters of Engine 16. It's a special project for me because I am a New York City fireman full time, and I work in a 100-year-old firehouse, and then to take what I know in building science and have input and work with architects like Mike that are going to transform that building from its old purpose and make it into something new that's super energy efficient, super clean air, and then because the bones are the same, it could be an exemplary project for other renovations of like buildings.
Right.
That you're just changing the function and how it's used. Like it's interesting. It's a challenge, but it's also to be a part of the landscape and history of like 100-year-old building and to give it a new purpose is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a NYSERDA Buildings of Excellence award winner as well. So cool to see that state investment in that kind of proof of concept for a really exciting retrofit. You mentioned your full-time fireman. I mean, that sometimes impacts your work with the Passive House Accelerator. Your co-hosting duties as a construction tech. It was just was it last week? I think you got called.
It was Gary Klein, yeah.
Yeah. So you made the introduction, and then we heard the alarm go off, and you were out. I am the engine.
It's in the beginning of construction tech, I was nervous. Like, I can't do every Tuesday. I can't guarantee I'm off, but I've somehow made it to everyone for the half a year. Yeah. I haven't been involved in everyone, but. Sometimes the schedule is bigger than my abilities. But.
Well, we're grateful for your participation, and also more than willing to let you to pursue a higher purpose during those calls. So definitely. Well, what else? So we got the firehouse. How about another project?
A few brownstones, and then like some consulting work on the larger multifamily buildings, trying to get them up to passive house air tightness. Maybe some testing. It's exciting, but a challenge. Visual inspection to then try and put it together. I think this is a really good air barrier, but we have to test it. That's like the stress of passive house in multifamily. You don't get to test it until the end.
Yeah, there's some drama. There's real drama.
And there's a lot of things that get covered up and you can't fix, and it's like, did I get eyes on that?
Yeah. So, where do you hope to see our community in a few years' time? Like, if you were to be able to wave your wand and see it develop in the way that you'd like to see, what would you like to see?
I'd like to see our community supported by, really smart governmental decisions or policies. I've always been inspired by what Brussels did of mandating passive house, but mandating something is one thing. But supporting it is another. So they supported it by doing design competitions and rewarding excellent projects, to reduce the first cost. They made it a competition, and then, really the support of getting the details and the technical knowledge out to the masses so that you can make it easier for the first run projects that are happening. We really need to expand the technical support that are out there to get more and more projects, up and running and certified. A lot of the heavy lifting of passive house happens in that detail stage and the planning stage, and also kind of like tinkering through what materials are available. So it's kind of like these design charrettes or processes of figuring out what your assemblies are. Those are the challenges, and there's so many options now that it could be overwhelming for people new to the game. So it's been great to work on. I'm a fireman in the Bronx, and some of the projects I've been consulting on are in the Bronx, and to see absolutely beautiful facilities being built for affordable housing, not too far away, and it's like, this is a passive house. This is going to have good, clean, fresh air, and you got nice community facilities, and and it's like this is what the future could be, and there's a little bit more hope than what we're currently have of underfunded, repaired housing that's out there. So the future's bright, but we gotta keep the eye on the prize.
Thank you. With that, just really thanks again for your work. Thanks for the chat, and good to see you in person.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that special bonus episode of the Passive House podcast. On behalf of everyone here at the Passive House Accelerator, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more on the Passive House podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.